Hi everybody, welcome to this solution video to Objects and Arrays Task 2 in the mrmoosey.com website. Just going to go back to Task 1 where we designed the contact class. Every contact object has 4 attributes, and I've just filled out all of the get methods where we are returning data from the object. And I've also updated all of the set methods where we are taking some new data as a parameter and updating the class variable with that new data. Okay, so set ID, set name, we're going to change the name, we're going to change the phone number, we're going to change the friendship indicator. Okay, so everything's set up. Now in task 2 we're asked to create the following contact objects. So there they are. I've already made them here, and we're going to append them into an array. So let's just create an array called contacts, and it's just going to be empty. And I'm just going to do this. There are many ways to do this, but let's just do it this way. Contacts.append C1. So that's going to append the C. Oh, let's just change these variable names. So C1 is going to be appended into the array, and we could just do that 5 times. Okay, there are other ways to do that, but that's how to use the append function in Python when we're working with arrays. Design a function getCodeCount that takes the array, there it is, it takes that array and a string as a parameter. The first parameter is a sample 3-character numeric string. As a numeric string. The function will return a count of all the contacts in the array who have a phone number starting with that numeric string. So if we look at this example here, we'll return 0. But if I do this to the data, let's just change a couple of them. The function getCodeCount would return 2. Okay, because there are now 2 phone numbers that start with 090. So above my main program, this is usually where I like to write any of my function definitions or classes. Notice that getCodeCount is not a class method. It's just a function in our program. Okay, and we'll call it in the main program later. So it's not in the class, contact class, nothing to do with that. So let's do it. getCodeCount. I think we're given the function header here. getCodeCount, the first variable is a search string, so let's just call it search string. And the second is an array of contact objects, 1 to n. This is going to be 1 to 5 of contact objects, and it returns an integer. So we're going to count, so let's just set up a variable to store the result. Now we're going to loop through this array. Okay, so for I in, we are going to visit every element in the array, so we should use a for loop, really. So len contacts is, of course, at the moment 5. So range 5 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's perfect. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to split my thinking into some logical lines of code. Get the phone number from the current contact object. Because remember guys, we're going to loop through the contacts array. And the contacts array is an array of contact objects. And each contact object has a phone number. So the first thing we're going to do is get the phone number. The second thing we're going to do is slice the first 3 characters from the phone number. And then the third thing I'm going to do is compare the slice with search string. So these are 3 things that I'm going to attempt to do in Python. Let's start. We're going to get the phone number from the current contact in the array that we're processing. So phone number is equal to contacts, which is the array that we're processing. We're visiting each element. Each element of the array is a contact object, so we can now attack some of these methods. And the one that we want is getPhone, which gives us the phone number. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Visit the current object in the for loop that we're processing and grab the phone number and assign it to a variable. The next thing we're going to do is slice the first 3 characters from the phone number. So I'm just going to say 3 chars equals phone number. Let's do the slicing from index 0 to 3. So do you remember how this works? Python treats strings like it does arrays. Each character in the string has an index, and the index of the first character is 0. So we're going to 0, 1, 2, and 3 is the stopping index. It's not included in the slice. So this code here will grab these 3 characters from this string. So we've done that. Now we're going to compare these 3 characters with this search string. So if 3 chars is the same as a search string, we're going to increment the count. And that's really what the for loop does. That's all the for loop is doing. It's just processing the array. And finally, of course, we're going to return, because we have to return an integer, we're going to return the count. Okay, so just to make that a bit easier to read, I'm just going to take away my comments. They are quite useful. And let's just bring this code together. So grab the phone number, slice out the first 3 characters, make a comparison, and if it's true, increment the count. That's all that does. Now let's, in our main program, let's call the function. So all I'm going to do is print the returned value. So I'm going to print, well, my array of contacts is called contacts. So let's, oh, sorry, we're not going to do that, are we? We're going to print a call to this function. That's right, sorry. So let's call the function. And we need to pass it 2 parameters. The first parameter is a search string, so I'm just going to type that in. There's the search string. And the second parameter is this array of contacts. So we'll call the function. It will return a result which will be printed out. So let's run that and see if it works. Boom. So the answer is 2, because near 090, there's one of them there, and there's one of them there. Let's do 072. And the answer is 1. There it is. Let's do 071, which I was just about to type. Are there any 071s? So the answer should be 0. Okay. So that works. So let's just review what we did. We've already designed the contact class, so we used that design to construct 5 objects. We pushed them into an array, and then we sent the array into a function along with a search string. And that function processed the array, looking for the string and returning a count.